What's up, gang? This is Magic Collins, aka Magic Man. This is part of the Fight the Funk podcast, and I just wanted to share 3 tips for you for finding a therapist. Now, some of y'all might be like, "Man, I'm feeling it," and your family not trying to hear another word you got to say about President 45, about this election. They're not trying to hear your conspiracy theory on COVID. They don't want to hear your flat Earth theory, no matter how good it is. And then you might be reaching that time you know what? I need a therapist. So I want to share just like some insight on my experiences with therapists and how I've gone about looking for one. First, I think it's important to look at finding a therapist like you're trying to find that right partner, like if it's a relationship. It's like instead of that love Cupid thing, like is try to find the right therapist thing. So what I found is for one, don't give up if the first therapist doesn't work. So give it time, man. Give it time to find the right therapist. Like there's a reason why something instinctual inside you was like, yo, I need some help, man. So give it time. Remember, just like some of us been dating for a long time, and some of us had like 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12 partners, and we still ain't found the right one. It is not too late. So the therapist is the same way. Like it might be the second one, it might be the fourth, or you might hit the perfect therapist on your 10th try. Like don't give up. Therapists are case by case. Like they're all different. They all have a different approach. Nuances to their approaches. So first tip, give it time. Second tip is to ask around, ask your friends, ask what do they have a therapist? Do they like them? Just like you would do a doctor or provider. It's like just don't sleep on asking people you talk to. And for me, my first venture was really like I took a good few weeks of just researching therapy, research different types, like if it's cognitive behavior, if it's EMDR, if it's talk therapy, if it's the group therapy. So just take some time, like give finding a therapist like 3 months. Like treat finding a therapist like you're moving to a new place. It takes about a month to find the right place for you. So do the same thing with researching therapists. So do your research is tip number 2. And I think tip number 3 is know what you like. Like know what you like. So meaning if you value having somebody that's from the same background as you, being a therapist, then that's what you need to look for. If you want somebody that can be bilingual like you happen to be, I wish I was bilingual, then make sure you look for that. Make sure that's part of your criteria. If you want somebody that's like, for me, my first therapist, I needed a prompt. I need somebody that would prompt me so I could keep talking, because I couldn't just talk about. I don't like hearing my voice for too long. So I'm not the person that can just be like sit there for an hour and just talk about myself. Now I could, but back then, there's no way I could sit with a therapist and just have this one-sided conversation about my life. So for me, I needed a therapist that was more willing to prompt me to get to the next subject or talk about the next thing. So tip number 3 is find the kind of therapist that you feel like, or look for the kind of therapist that you feel like you respond to best. Like you might have a therapist that does more of a task. I want you to, if you're having social anxiety, I want you to talk to 3 people next week and come back to me and tell me how it went. If you more prefer just having somebody to talk to, maybe just somebody that can listen to you because you never talked about this stuff before. Or maybe like a more creative therapist where you can draw a picture and then you can talk about it. Or a therapist that's more based from cognitive behavioral therapy. Like there's so many different kind of therapists, man. Therapists that are more kind of Eastern philosophy, kind of combined with more Western forms. So those are 3 tips on how to find a therapist. And I think it's if you're feeling like you're at that point, then you're probably at that point. Like there's so much that's happened this year that a lot of people are going to be seeking help for the first time. So sooner rather than later, don't be embarrassed or ashamed or put it off. It's a natural, we all are going to have mental health challenges at some point in our lives. So let yourself just be open to resources that are out there for you. So that's my tips for finding a therapist. Tip 1 is give it time. So you're not going to find it overnight. Tip 2 is do your research. Give yourself like a good month, like you're looking for a new place. Do your research. And then tip 3 is find a therapist that think of your personality and find a therapist that you feel like will chemistry. Find a therapist that you feel you have chemistry with. And all this will take time. So give yourself time to do these things. And I hope that helped. My name is Magic Collins, aka Magic Man.